Hi everyone, thank you so much for tuning into my presentation today. My name is Gabriela Zaldumbide, and I'm here to tell you about the social and wildlife monitoring I completed in Taylor Park, Colorado, for my Master in Environmental Management project. Before I get too deep into the meat of my work, I'd like to tell you a short story from my fieldwork last year. My field crew leader, Amy Eaton, a previous MEM student, and I were hiking towards a GPS point deep in the lodgepole pines of Taylor Park. We had just climbed up a small drainage, and as we neared our research plot, I heard a soft pop. A twig breaking, pony sized moose calf had decided we were the strangest thing he'd witnessed all day. He stared at us, unmoving. We froze. Moose are notoriously dangerous, I knew, the most aggressive being a mom with a calf. But where was his mom? The calf spooked and loped back down a small rise, awkward long legs flailing beneath his blunt torso. The wind was in our favor, blowing air towards us and not the moose's nose, and we tiptoed as fast as we could behind two wide trees large enough to conceal us. I dropped my pack and got out my camera. I thought, I should creep forward to locate the mother so we can wait for her to leave the area, but I was terrified of getting stomped to death. I crept forward anyways, hiding below low-hanging pine boughs overlooking the damp wetland. And there she was. A modern-day giant, the cow moose was munching on willows as her calf pranced around the drainage. The calf moved in my direction, and I snapped a few photos, trying to keep the shutter as quiet as possible. Soon after, he rejoined Mom, their outlines melting back into the forest. Moose aren't the only thing special about Taylor Park. This place is the home of my master's project, which we're about to dive into now. Taylor Park is a beautiful slice of public land comprised of high-elevation forests, wetlands, and meadows located on Colorado's western slope, just north of Gunnison. It is managed by the Gunnison District of the Grand Mesa, Uncompahgre, and Gunnison National Forests. Beginning in 2019, the U.S. Forest Service collaborated with Western Colorado University to build an adaptive management group in anticipation of a landscape-scale vegetation management project, including a fuels reduction and a timber harvest. The Center for Public Lands, a training and resource center that connects students, land managers, and communities in a collaborative manner with public lands and waters, facilitates the AMG. Taylor Park's AMG is a collection of stakeholders working towards a similar goal: work with the U.S. Forest Service to implement an adaptive management and monitoring framework for the Taylor Park Vegetation Management Project. This Western Colorado University Master in Environmental Management project falls under the umbrella of the Science Team, a partner and supporter of the AMG. The goal of the science team is to inform and provide feedback to the Forest Service so that it may assess the effectiveness of treatments in increasing forest resiliency to things like pathogens, wildfire, and climate change. This is a map of Taylor Park, which includes the U.S. Forest Service future treatment areas. This provides you with an idea of where this project takes place. I have another map depicting the locations of my wildlife sites, which I'll get to shortly. First, I'd like to touch on the social survey aspect of this MEM project. During the first year of baseline data collection, I administered a public survey to over 500 residents and users of Forest Service lands within Taylor Park. The goal of the survey was to assess Taylor Park residents and users' understanding of the timber treatments that will take place there in the near future, and to gauge their level of trust in the U.S. Forest Service. The mailed survey was delivered by the U.S. Postal Service in July of 2019. A digital version was made available as well. The survey period closed at the end of 2019. Survey results were compiled from both the online and physical responses and are considered broadly representative of the human communities who may be affected by the agency's Taylor Park Vegetation Management Project. My final report on the public survey summarizes the first year of data collection for the Taylor Park Community Survey. Many results arose from the analyzation of the survey responses, so I will only discuss 4 of the main results here. First of all, we had 144 respondents, which gave us a 29% response rate. Those 4 key findings from the survey results include that out of 7 environmental factors, which included overall forest health, motorized recreation impacts, and the changing climate, users and residents expressed the highest concern about wildfire risks. In general, respondents agreed that natural environmental conditions of the park are of equal importance or take precedence over economic factors. A majority of respondents hold trust in the Forest Service management of this area for a wide variety of ecological and social values, and 97% of respondents agreed that the public should be involved with forest management, and 46% believe it should be by providing suggestions and letting the natural resource professionals decide on which forest management practices are utilized. Based on survey findings, we conclude that Taylor Park residents and users are deeply vested in the management of these forests. They seek to be more involved, but many are not aware of the opportunities for involvement. Additionally, many respondents stated they were limited by their age, health, and availability. Managers may wish to consider stronger outreach, highlighting the digital AMG meetings, materials, and volunteer opportunities. Wildlife was my second focus during the first year of the Taylor Park Vegetation Management Plan monitoring. We designated 10 sites within Taylor Park. 6 of those are in untreated areas, or areas that have not historically been logged, and 4 are in treated areas, or areas that do have a history of logging. Each site has a mounted camera trap and 3 rounds of breeding bird point counts completed near them. The camera traps document use by wildlife ranging from moose to pine squirrels, and the bird surveys count how many calling breeding birds are present in the surrounding area. My preliminary report of the baseline data collection for the wildlife monitoring summarizes the findings from the first year of the wildlife baseline data collection. This is where the camera traps and the breeding bird point survey sites are located. The survey sites are generally within 40 meters of the camera traps, if not exactly the same as the camera site. During the 2019 field season, I recorded 29 bird species ranging from mountain chickadees to spotted sandpipers. The camera traps photographed 15 wildlife species, including black bear, moose, elk, mule deer, and pine marten. Key findings of the preliminary wildlife data analysis include: there were no significant differences between wildlife species and treated and untreated lodgepole pine stands. Additionally, there were also no significant differences between avian species in treated and untreated stands. And there are also many areas where this graduate research may be expanded in the coming years of this vegetation treatment plan. The wildlife monitoring is intended to be completed each summer during the course of the vegetation management plan. Over time, results from these monitoring efforts will inform Western Colorado University and the U.S. Forest Service on how Taylor Park wildlife use changes throughout the vegetation treatment plan. Future science team researchers may consider expanding this preliminary report by increasing sample sizes, providing a further in-depth comparison of impacts on treated and untreated stands, and expanding current monitoring methods to include small mammals and crepuscular or nocturnal birds. So, to summarize everything that we've talked about so far, this project studied both the wildlife within Taylor Park and the humans who use it. These results will inform the U.S. Forest Service, the Center for Public Lands, Western Colorado University, the Adaptive Management Group, and the general public. Continued monitoring and surveying will show managers how wildlife use and human perspectives change over time during the duration of the Vegetation Management Plan. And this project intends to continue on for the next 15 years. This will give opportunities for future MEM students and land managers to get involved. I would like to extend a special thank you to Dr. Coop, my faculty advisor, District Ranger Matt McCombs, my project sponsor, the U.S. Forest Service, the Center for Public Lands, Margie and John Haley, and my intern Alex Stogsdill. This work could not have been completed without you all. Thank you very much. And thanks to all of you for listening. With that, we'll now move into the live question segment of this digital presentation.